Abundance and gratitude to all my brothers and all my mothers of life throughout the entire planet, throughout the entire universe, solar system, as we are one big prokaryotic species. Today I really wanted to talk about what makes us that prokaryotic species and how that prokaryotic cell within our mother connects all black people, so-called black people, neuromelanated, organic people throughout the entire planet, throughout the entire realms of life, all realms, all dimensions of life. We don't just exist on one landmass. We don't just exist on one planet. We don't just exist on one solar system. We don't just exist in one galaxy. We don't even just exist in one universe. So we need to be mindful and observant and aware of what's really happening within our bodies and what's happening within the cosmos, because as above, so below. So we need to be talking about our cosmic origins. There's nothing else we need to be talking about. There's nothing else. You're not born on a landmass. You're born from your mother's womb. So why do all so-called black people, no matter where you are on the planet, have the same embryonic development inside of our mother's womb? But everybody outside of us, they didn't come from a biogenic womb. They didn't come from an embryonic womb for real. They came from a cul-de-sac, a lab-made womb. And I want my people to really watch this part with their first eye. I want you to watch the whole video with your first eye open. You see what I'm saying? That's how we supposed to be viewing life and moving through reality in the first place. So it says you're the first human, but we're not humans. You understand that? Humans mean animal man. So the first organism is what they're trying to tell you. You have to read between the lines. The first organism born not on Ethiopia and Kenya, but on Earth. That those places don't exist, but the planet itself exists. All the land masses are connected through water, just like every organ and cell and mineral and atom and alkaloid in your body is connected through water. So, again, this woman was able to perform parthenogenesis, a birth without a man's sperm. No man is needed for her to reproduce. And we're gonna dive deep in today in how she performs that and the reason why she's not able to do that at this moment, given the situation of us living with viruses and parasites. So it says here, this is before her chromosomes split into XX and XY, creating a variation or a different type of woman we call man. So again, if you're a prokaryotic organism, because even here it holds truth to what they're saying here, but there are also things that we have to catch on to, because everything that's prokaryotic, especially the woman of the species, has two sets of chromosomes. She's able to genetically copy the X and the Y and pass that on identically. So the man, we can only possess the Y because that is what our genetics is. It's the masculine body. It's a mutated version or a dormant version of the woman's anatomy. And until she understands her true nature and true power of her neuromelanin, her divine magic, her cosmic throne, her divine intuition, herself, her knowledge of self, how she's the divine creator of all phases of matter. Once she understands this, our species can now have balance with each other. We will see how well we form bonds based on how our electron or our mother forms bond with each other. And here we have on a cellular level how she is performing parthenogenesis. She's doing this all the time. She's doing it right now. This is how her cells naturally split, which is through binary fission. And our women do not have egg cells. They don't have that. Egg cells pertain to animal DNA organism. You see what I'm saying? Organisms with eumelanin and pheomelanin. Or you have vitro eumelanin or vitro synthetic pheomelanin. You see what I'm saying? This is where you have to deal with eggs. With our women, we have totipotent stem cells, and totipotent stem cells possess the highest possibility to make an entire organism from a single cell. You see what I'm saying? Not meaning that, oh, I'm just a single cell, I'm just one cell. No, it means that the cells that make up my hair, the cells that make up my eyes, the cells that make up my nose, heart, liver, all of these different anatomical structures, all of these cells have the same embryological origin, and that embryological origin is the totipotent stem cell, which has to be activated through a zinc spark, through either the mother extracting the selenium and zinc off of her bones and then self-impregnating herself, or with the man when he ejaculates and he releases selenium and zinc and causes a zinc spark, which we are going to dive into within her. So these stem cells have immortal properties to them. They're immortal. When they start to see that they're decaying, they start to reorganize themselves back into existence. And because these stem cells are made up of immortal particles, you see what I'm saying, protons and electrons, especially cosmic protons and electrons that have been here since the Big Bang. You see what I'm saying? Which is what the zinc spark that I was talking about earlier is. As above, so below. It happens inside of our women and only our women. Everybody else, for them to produce a child, they have to have a menstrual cycle. Our women are not naturally supposed to have these cycles. They're supposed to have the natural circadian rhythm cycle that connects their body to the entire solar system. So with that being said, neuromelanin is the driving force of all of this, by the way. That is what the immortal particles make up. These particles, the atomic, subatomic particles, they create the biochemical substance. You see what I'm saying? The atom creates biology and chemistry. So these atoms create the biochemical substance, neuromelanin, which is immortal, which is our DNA. This is what allows cell replication and DNA replication to occur within our anatomy. So as you see here, it says the mother cell copies her own genetics identically with no other species help, with no other organisms help. And then that cell elongates horizontally. And once that cell elongates horizontally, because the DNA is copied inside of the cytoplasm, our neuromelanin is copied and translated and transcripted inside of our cytoplasm. And once these two cell membranes split, it creates two identical cells. You see what I'm saying? And these two identical cells can differentiate into any part of the body. They can become any part of the body, and they hold the chemical key of life, which is neuromelanin. They hold immortality. This is why so many of our children, women, and men are going missing around the planet at alarming rates. This is why there's an all-out war on our children's minds. And they have our people even selling each other out around the whole planet to keep furthering the destruction and system of lies, trauma, fear down to our children. When they're the literally lifeline, they're the future. You see what I'm saying? They got us to not even care about our own species. So here we're gonna move forward with the zinc spark, and this zinc spark is an exact reflection of how our mother gives birth to star seeds or young children, young black children, in the same way that molecular clouds, nuclear force or magnetic force of molecular clouds or stardust can create protostars in space. So it says here that the zinc spark marks the beginning of fertilization. And I already explained to y'all that fertilization doesn't just happen with the male sperm. It happens because the woman, our woman specifically, is able to extract, you see what I'm saying, the selenium and zinc out of her bone marrow through the Bartholin glands that is now dormant because of viruses, diseases, and antigens that have been placed on us for over 4,000 years continuously. So she's able to do this as well. And this zinc spark, the selenium and zinc that is in the sperm from her bone marrows and the sperm from a male, this carries a lot of zinc in it already, because zinc is a heavy metal that allows charged ionized particles or electrons or information to flow through at a measurable rate to construct the body. So it already has intelligence. And our people who read about neuromelanin and how it's present in embryogenesis shows you that neuromelanin is the genetic blueprint of all neuromelanated suits. You see what I'm saying? So that is her. because it's made up of information. Neuromelanin is made up of information because the information that makes up neuromelanin is electrons. So it says here that it absorbs and stores heavy metals like zinc, regulating when and how they are released. You see what I'm saying? So when and how they are released, because when these sperm and the sperm from our bone marrow and the sperm from our spermatozoa, once this lets off the zinc inside of her, she releases the zinc inside of the egg to tell the other organs, yo, I need nutrients right now and vitamins and minerals because we're getting ready to construct a body within our body. So that's why this zinc spark is very important. So moving forward, so now that we understand the powerful essence of the zinc spark and what it creates, you know what I'm saying? This zinc spark, it creates chaos to where order is gonna have to come back. So it says here, well, before I even say that, look at the primitive streak, which happens inside of our woman's wombs, and look at the cosmic streak that happens in space when stars are born. Why is that the same exact process? Why are we being lied to that we're giving birth to stars? We're giving birth to actual planets, the universe, that hold immense amounts of information. And we can prove through cymatics that the so-called black woman is the most intelligent person walking on this planet. And it says here, like the primitive streak that forms in a developing embryo. These carbon-rich dark filaments mark the first axis of organization. The first axis of organization. A structural and energetic boundary that gives all the surrounding chaos orientation. So all that chaos is gonna come back together and be structured through the axis of assembly. This is why the brain, then the spinal cord, then the body is formed. So I don't want to hear, oh, neuromelanin is just in the substantia nigra. That just means black substance. So that's not giving me an actual location or region in the brain. That's just saying dark substance is in dopamine neurons. But last time I checked, neuromelanin makes dopamine. Neuromelanin makes different neurotransmitters and neurotrophins inside of the body. So I don't understand that. The body is created from the brain and spinal cord. Your brain and spinal cord controls your entire physical reality. So to heal your mind is to learn. It's to unlearn and relearn. It's to fix your mind. That's where the war is at. We're going through ischemia and autopsis and all these different issues dealing with diseases in our community because we don't understand ourselves. We don't understand it. This is how it's formed. So the so-called first black man, the first black woman to ever exist, and there's no such thing as the first black woman because we all came through that womb right there. We were not created through a lab. And they say many astrophysical studies, meaning you're dealing with cosmic particles now, right? They saying that this is an amorphous carbon or amorphous carbon, meaning that it doesn't have a solidified shape. It can take any shape. It can take the shape of wood, air, liquid, and you will never know its internal structure. That sounds like the electron. That sounds like totipotent stem cells. That sounds like prokaryotic cells. That sounds like the organic neuromelanated woman. That's what it sounds like right there. And they're saying that, but these behavioral fingerprints are clear. Broad spectrum light absorption, charge stabilization, mental or not mental, metal binding, self-assembly, radical scavenging, and immune structure stability. These are not just similar to neuromelanin because there's different types of melanin, and we understand that neuromelanin and cosmic melanin are one and the same. So these are not just similar to neuromelanin, these are the signature properties. So how does the so-called black woman have the signature properties within her of a star, of a planet, of a solar system, of a galaxy, of a universe? And here I have something else for y'all. Law of biogenesis. In nature, life comes only from life. In nature, life comes only from life, and that of its own kind. So neuromelid organic people around the planet, why is it that we have 5.7 to 5.9 million people walking on our planet that doesn't look like us? That shares DNA with multiple different organisms inside of their genomics, which would now tell you what? That being is unnatural. It didn't come from life. It's a virus, and viruses are not considered to be living organisms. And how you can tell if anything is a virus or a disease? If it holds more than one genetic material within its cell. It holds more than one genetic material from an outside source within its cell. That's what makes it unnatural. Because nothing in nature shares genomics with another animal. They don't do that. That's a lie. Elephants only have elephant DNA, so the mother elephant will continue to produce elephants for eons of years. You see what I'm saying? The dragonfly will only keep producing the dragonfly for eons of years. The ginkgo tree will only produce the ginkgo tree for eons of years. The apple tree will only produce apples for eons of years. So how is it that this suit changed into a pink skin, mucous membrane, synthetic artificial organism? How did it change into that? How did we go from haploids to diploids? All of that was to show how so-called black neuromelanated organisms on this planet is completely different than everybody outside of us through embryology and genetics. This was to show that, and how it connects all black people, not just with black people on this planet, but black people throughout the entire universe, because we are ubiquitous to the entire universe. So you need to understand that the information that goes to our next generation has to be the truth. We can no longer, you know what I'm saying, keep a hold of a lie and passing it on to our children. We have to pass them the truth for the manifestation of our species to change. You see what I'm saying? Because we are not the body. Stop lying to children because you're mentally lazy. Stop doing that. You're holding us back. You are fields of magnetism, allowing you to relate and reject everything. This is your origin. This is your lineage. This is your infinity. So we talking about lineage. It don't go back to no 1800s. The Gregorian calendar is fake. This man was out in the woods during Spanish Inquisition, unaliving our women and children that were performing alchemy in the forests and woods. This is the same calendar that we want to say, oh, 1800 this, 1600 that. Man, fuck that calendar. What about the cycles of the sun? What about the circadian rhythm of the body? So this current, you see what I'm saying? The current of this energy is awareness. The outcome of this energy that you have is creation. And the link between both is imagination. This is a light, vibrational, mental universe. Everything is happening in here. You're projecting it out. This is why it's so important to program us for whatever they need to do for control. That's why it's so important for us to be programmed and controlled and have a government. It's for somebody to govern our mind. We need to stand up and understand our genetic, real ancestry, our stellar ancestry. We come from the universe. We are born from the universe, and we just proved that today. That the womb that your mother spent all that time creating you in, that womb right there is ancient, the most ancient womb. That's her birth canal, which is the representation of the Ankh, is the oldest womb to exist. So I really want our people to understand that this is about a conscious war. How did the species go from building megalithic structures around the entire planet, the entire solar system, to now they're delivery drivers, to now they work constructions, to now they're up in fucking wooden poles pulling telephone lines on it, to where we work at Subway, and I'm not trying to diminish anybody for what we're doing. It's just that, how did the species go from that to this? So I don't want to hear we were never colonized, because how is it now that 70 to 80% of children are going missing around the whole planet? 70 and 80% of 8 million children going missing around the planet. How did it get like that? And they're not just taking African children, they're not just taking American children, they're taking all neuromelanated children around the planet, because they have the same embryology, they have the same genetics, they have the same electromagnetism. So the only thing that differentiates us is frequency and discipline. You see what I'm saying? We have to understand internal alchemy. Every thought produces a chemical reaction in your body. We have to understand internal alchemy, because once we understand that, we will be able to see how we can structure our outer alchemy, not just for us, but for our species, a better, peaceful, harmonic environment for our species. But you have to have that environment within you and your mind first. That's it. This is our app. We don't even need to be on TikTok. This is our quantum computer, to where we can link at. This is we always talk about we need our own app. This right here. This is our own app. Only we can tap into that. But we scared to. We too docile to. So we lie to children. So we gotta stop doing that shit.